Hello there, friends. This is benchmark episode number 25 of the Push to Pass podcast with JP Murray. Hey, it's not my 25th in total. I think I did a couple hundred when I was with the Association Hustle podcast, but certainly a benchmark. So glad you could listen. Today, I want to get in your head, in your mindset, the ongoing conversation with yourself and what it means to your optimal success and happiness. First, I want to talk about living in the middle. Most professionals are in an environment that is very much one of self-promotion, business promotion, less self-deprecation. I enjoy LinkedIn and other platforms just like everyone else, and I use those to celebrate others' success, and everyone's self-promoting the new job, the partnership announcement, the release of the new location. Nothing wrong with that. Let's celebrate those wins. But I yearn for more realistic content because we know that business is not really like an ESPN highlight reel. Prospects ghost you, clients drop you, projects don't meet expectations, all that stuff. But if we watch everything on social media, it seems these setbacks don't exist and everyone's motivated and firing each other up. That's not reality. In fact, our success rate in business is often less than a mediocre baseball player's batting average, about 250. But that's all right. My hope is that you can live in the middle with your mindset, not too high, not too low, and don't think that everyone's winning all the time. This builds you for the long game. I'll give you an example. One time, I landed a very big client, probably the most well-known association in Washington, D.C. I would retire and go fishing off this project, but it didn't happen. And in fact, it was one of the most disappointing efforts of my business career. I lost a big client in our formative years at the Murray Company. We only had an employee or two. And I think there was a little bit of panic that the business would close or, oh my gosh, we're going to lay people off. That didn't happen either. In fact, we flourished because there was no longer the wheel spin on a bloated project and effort. So these setbacks actually didn't have the impact that we thought they would. And in fact, my middle of the road kind of mindset kind of enabled us to, or at least me, to overcome those a little bit quicker. If you listen to this podcast or watch my videos, you might think I'm hanging from the chandelier all the time in terms of motivation and energy, and I'm probably a little bit like that. I've learned that over time, the middle of the road mindset is a very good one to be in. The next area I want to cover is I want to break some terrible news to you. Not everyone's pulling for you and your success, or they might be jealous of it. Gary Vaynerchuk often talks about how he doesn't listen to the cheering or the boos. Incredibly self-confident to do that, and I think he doesn't want to hear the cheering or the boos because it might affect his behavior. I'd like to add another layer or offer my take to this. If you make changes in your life, people will judge that decision. In fact, I've done it myself with others, I admit it. But that judgment is often based on their relationship with you and what those individuals expect or need from that relationship with you. When the change happens, it frankly shuffles their deck, or that's the way they're thinking about it. And even when good happens to you, they might resent it because of that end result affecting them. The point of this encouragement is that I don't want that judgment to creep into your psyche. The changes that are best might never happen because you're going to hold back from your full potential because of what others might think, and you won't make the move. Judgment will occur regardless, and that's okay, but it really isn't about you. It is about them, so feel free to move to a new level and don't let it handcuff you. Both the middle of the road mindset and freedom from judgment are a superpower against the slump, and let's talk about those. Highs and lows and worrying about what others might think, I guarantee, will affect your willingness to take action. And when I break down any slump in my life, business, relationships, spiritual well-being, health, lack of action is always a reason for the downside. It's not the only reason, but it's almost always a key issue. To be more action-oriented and ensure the action is of quality, I like to think about three things. One, what's the reason I'm acting? What goal does this action lead to or is it related to? Secondly, information and data, just enough information for the action to make sense and have sound technique. That's where your training and research come into play and are helpful. And then third, set the action goals specifically. Have a very measurable plan and then let it rip. You have a strong foundation now underneath you. You've got a reason, you've got information, and you've got your mind really immersed and engaged into that action. One final thought. The greatest of all time have one thing in common. At one time or another, they 10x'd everyone else on activity and action. I guarantee it. Folks, I'm wishing the very best for you, every success in the world, and I greatly appreciate you listening to the Push to Pass podcast with JP Murray. Until next time, be well. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Push to Pass podcast with JP Murray, a discussion about business, racing, sports, and life. If you would like to sponsor Push to Pass, send an email to jp@jpmurray.com. Follow JP on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. His website is jpmurray.com. Until next time, push yourself to pass the competition. Thanks for listening.